The biggest thing is that it got a lot more competitive for the most part. Like the Google algorithm, I guess, if you will, is the same. You just write and publish content that satisfies the intent of what people are searching for, and then you drive popularity by way of links.
So some links do better than others.
They totally do.
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon Approved, where we interview those who have been both successful at law and life. And today we have probably one of the most successful legal entrepreneurs, Jason Hennessey.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Honored to be here.
We're here in the Hollywood Hills. Well, just considered Hollywood or Hollywood Hills. What do you consider?
It's Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Mauro Fiore's house. This is his clubhouse.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A beautiful home, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I know why you're so good at putt-putt golf, too.
Yep. Yeah, I have a putting green out there.
He also has a half-court basketball court, but he's no good at that. So
No, I can shoot a little bit.
yeah, he can shoot all right. Well, we always start with a pour.
All right.
So we selected two pours for you. One is, so I don't know if you know this, but we have a veteran here. Mm-hmm. Right?
A military veteran. Yeah, I thought a veteran of drinking.
Well, this is
maybe that too, but military veteran, yes. Air Force.
So for a story from Air Force to literally wrote the book about SEO.
Yep.
Helping a ton of law firms, one of the biggest digital marketing companies. Lives locally here in Santa Clarita in California, but big in the space. I mean, you have your own podcast, you have your own show, so you're used to all this shit, but you're going to do this with alcohol. And we selected one, and this is our Justice Team one,
okay.
And I'd like to think it's a little more military style to it, but it's got 64% alcohol in it.
Okay.
So we wanted to start really high proof for you.
Got it.
Your show you don't drink on.
No, I do not.
All right, let's go. But this is from Cat's Eye Distillery. We did a barrel select on the show live once with Jason Sanchez, where we selected this one. The one everybody liked the most was actually the highest proof one, holding true. But you actually met the person who distilled this.
Did I?
You did. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
The street lawyers and street justice.
That's good.
First sip of the day is always good, isn't it?
Very good. I like it.
64% alcohol too.
Doesn't really taste that hot, but it's good.
You know what? It's interesting because it was it 2 years ago that we were in Kentucky together? Right about now. I saw those memories coming up. Mm-hmm.
It was 3 years ago.
I think it's been more than 2.
Has it been?
It was 2021.
That was the
4 years
first
ago.
Bourbon Approved.
First Bourbon
Roadshow.
Approved tour. It was the only one real, we did a couple that were conference adjacent, but that was the first one we did everything on. And I know you were there, Mauro was there. It was one of the most fun trips we've ever done.
So great. Yeah.
And I think that's the first time I met you.
I think it was in person.
In person.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Jason's in an organization called YPO, which got me interested in, so you got me in.
You're in, yes.
Right. Stuck my way in, fluffed up the numbers as far as this. No, just kidding. They literally make you go through a lot of screening to get into that.
But once you're in, it's just such a good brotherhood, you know. So many people, so much knowledge.
I think I would be in the OPO, Old President.
I'm almost there too.
OPA.
Well, they make you, after you get to, is it over 50? They make you go to a different...
So you could only get into YPO until you're 45, and then you can stay until you're 50, and then you graduate into what is called gold, which if you take out the G, it makes sense.
Old.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But
So I'm over 50, so I'm done.
But we've been with some of the other, the folks that have been in forever. I mean, these guys are they started the biggest companies in the world. So
yeah.
And you're just next one. Oh, I had no idea you did this.
Yeah, and it's great to kind of just be at the table, pick their brains, just casually. Yeah, that's the cool thing about YPO.
So what's the coolest trip? Because you guys do cool trips in your chapter. Are you the Pasadena one?
Pasadena, yes, yep. We've taken some epic trips. I actually organized a trip to Mexico City where we did the F1 race, VIP style. That was really awesome. This year we went to Ireland, went to Dublin.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Do you know Matt Riley?
Yeah.
He was on that trip.
He was on...
In Tara. He went to Ireland with him and his wife.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. So, he was the one that actually organized that one for us. He's moving to Tennessee, too. Uh-huh.
So Matt, I saw him this morning.
Oh, really? Okay.
Our kids are all friends, go to school together.
See? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was awesome. We had dinner.
I want to steal that itinerary, actually, because the next Bourbon Approved we want to do
is Dublin?
Ireland.
Okay, cool, man. I'm down for that. I'll go back to Ireland for sure. Epic trip.
But it just opens a lot of doors and just different folks? 'Cause I think there's only a couple lawyers like that are in. Usually they don't let law firm owner. It's a little different. So just different types of folks. Well, tell us, I mean, because you have a very interesting origin story, right? Being, from military, Air Force to like being the guru of digital marketing. Like, how do we bridge that? Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah, I think everything comes from like our childhood and our upbringing. I mean, I think I was dealt like a 2-7 offsuit when I was born, and maybe some of you feel that as well.
Well, he's a donkey. He plays every hand.
Yeah, those are good. That's a top 10 hand for me.
Nobody sees it coming. They flop 7-7-2. Nobody will see
But
it.
you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it actually is a good hand to be dealt, right? Because in life, you just kind of have to work your way up to play at the better tables and to trade up the cards until you have pocket aces. And so I think my mom had me at like 17 years old. My father wasn't in the picture. And so
Where did you grow up?
New York, Long Island. And so I joined I was like a good C+ student. I wasn't getting into any great colleges. So I joined the Air Force. Didn't want to burden my mom with, trying to pay for college or anything like that. And so I joined the Air Force. And so I did 4 years. I was very money motivated. I wanted to make the same amount of money that the colonel made, right? But I didn't want to do 30 years in order to make that. And so I knew quickly that I was going to do the Air Force and then get out after 4 years. I made Special Forces. I turned that down at the time because I would have to enlist for another 2 years.
Can you imagine if you chose a different path where that would have led?
No, I think everything is kind of meant to be, right? But yeah, that was, they were very surprised that I turned that down because it was like a big honor. They called my mom, the colonel brought me to his office. I'm just like, I'm just here to pay for college, guys, So.
Can you snap a human being's neck with your hands?
Not anymore.
No, it's not like this. You got
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that was like my wrestling days and stuff like that. But
Did you ever see that movie with the guy who played Saul from Better Call Saul, where he played like an ex-military guy that didn't look like a guy that would kill everybody, but he was like an assassin?
Oh, really?
No.
It's a really
Bob
funny
Odenkirk?
Bob Odenkirk movie. I think it's called. It was a great movie, but no one saw it. It just came out like last year. I can't remember the name of it, but
I thought he was talking about Grosse Point Blank, and I was going to say it's John Cusack.
No.
There's always-
Bob
there's
Odenkirk
always
played a
Steven
movie
Seagal,
where
right?
Yeah.
he was an assassin, but he played like an accountant in the show, in the movie. That
That's
was
Ben
actually an
Affleck
assassin.
called The Accountant.
No,
There
They
you
made
go.
that movie
So Bob I love Better Call Saul. I know Bob Odenkirk.
from Mr. Show. That show was great.
Yeah, so after the Air Force, I got out. I was going to college. I was going to go to law school as well.
Where were you at this point? What part of the world?
I got stationed in Las Vegas,
I have been to that Air Force Base.
Nellis Air Force Base. Yep. I went to Aviano, Italy for a short period, came back 1999, met my wife, got married after knowing her for only a month and a half.
Wow.
Right?
This is a good story.
Yep.
Where'd you get
month and a half.
married?
We got married at like a Justice of Peace in Las Vegas. We didn't tell nobody, our parents, nobody. Which
You guys have been married 25 years.
99, so 26 years now. Yeah.
Wow. 3 beautiful kids.
3 beautiful kids. And so, so we got married and I was going to college. I got out of the Air Force and then I found this thing called SEO. And that was in 2001.
Where'd you go to college?
UNLV. Yep. So I stayed in
Run
Vegas
Rebels.
for a while. Yep. And then I was going to go to the William Boyd School of Law there. I was studying for the LSAT. I shadowed a district attorney for a bit. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to
I
be
did
a
not
lawyer.
know this part of your journey. Wow.
Yeah, but all the roads took me back to law anyway, I guess, right? Here I am. So, and found this thing called SEO, and the rest is history. I've been doing that for most of my adult life, I guess.
Yeah, when were you published? When was that book published?
The book came out probably about 4 years ago now, I'd say. 4.5 years, something like that.
Because I remember when I started practicing 2005,
Okay.
and we didn't know SEO was a thing. I mean, maybe it was being naive. I mean, you were probably early into this because I see where you were, but
Yeah.
we didn't know
I
what
mean,
that
when
was.
I started practicing in '98, I mean, I didn't even have internet access in my office.
Sure,
I mean, this was
right.
the Stone Ages. We used to send faxes and shit. And
Yellow
then-
Pages.
Yeah, and I used to advertise in the Yellow Pages
Yeah.
and things like that. So it was like, So different era.
He also does the classifieds, but for services.
Yes.
So the book came out, like 4 years ago, but I got into SEO, like I said, 2001. So it's been a long journey, for sure. Yeah.
But how did you build that?
What's the name of the book, by the way?
So my book is called Law Firm SEO, right? And it was by design because I wanted to rank it
for
for
keywords.
the word law firm SEO, where my competitors are bidding on those keywords, right?
So I learned, like, whenever I wanted to call the book that I wrote.
Congrats, by the
Thank
way.
you. It's been
Saw that.
crushing. But he's in the book. I mentioned
Cool,
that.
congrats, guys.
But
yeah.
I want to name it Small Disc Energy.
Okay.
And they're like, we can't do that. The publisher's like, why? They're like, we wanted to rank for SEO terms.
Good.
So we had to call, like,
Well, that's good advice.
trying disc injury cases, defeating the degenerative disc defeat. I mean, because those were words that people like, and it worked. I could see, like, there's some transparency on where the sales are coming from, and they're definitely just Googling shit.
I love it. And then that's also going to help you because there's this thing called entity association. And so now that you're a published author, Google can see that, put the lines together, and you'll probably end up in a lot of these AI chats now as a result of that. So there's only good things that come.
So I test that all the time, and somebody that does SEO told me now you can create what's called that celebrity page, quote unquote,
Knowledge panel.
knowledge panel on Google. So if you Google my name, it'll come up as an author. You can, because my wife, she just has that because that's what she does. So when you Google her, it comes up with this whole thing and her panel, and I was like, God, it has stickiness to it.
Yep.
But if you don't know the game, you don't know the game.
That's so true.
What's that called?
A knowledge panel.
Because I wrote a chapter in Nick Rowley's book from Trial Guides. I'm a published author.
You could publish in anything. You could write his book that was called Nonsense, like Stories of a Street Lawyer, which would be a bestseller. Honestly, you could write it right now by just taking our episodes. We get them all transcribed anyway.
Yeah.
And just do your book.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm going to.
A lot of people want to read that book for sure.
I will. I will.
But he has to get ready to be disbarred.
Yeah.
He knows a guy. No, but the first 4 lawyers that Mauro worked for all got disbarred.
Yeah. Well, they were up to real nonsense, and that's a problem. You can push the envelope. I'm a habitual line stepper, but you can't step over the line.
That's That's so true.
Line steppers. But so just educate our guests a little bit on what is digital marketing, what is SEO, and how does it evolve? I mean, it's got to be much different from 2001.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that it got a lot more competitive, right? I think for the most part, like the Google algorithm, I guess, if you will, is the same. You just write and publish content that satisfies the intent of what people are searching for, and then you drive popularity by way of links, right? Natural links.
Do some links do better than others?
They totally do, right?
What kind of links are we looking for?
I mean, like the Grand Slam home run links are, anytime like a site like a USA Today references you or links to you, a Newsweek, a Forbes, right? Inc. magazine,
I have like 50 Forbes specialists reaching out to me on DM every day. I'm a Forbes specialist. Let me help you get published. They're all my spam.
I was going to say the same thing. I get all these things saying, "Oh, do you want to be in USA Today by next week? We can get you published." So those are all bullshit.
I'd say probably.
That's a pay for play type thing. So it depends. Is it organic or not? You can tell I'm an outreach specialist. Yeah, you have a stock photo.
Exactly. No, there's.
You know what? I even get stuff in my DMs from these people that they're so lazy and sloppy that instead of putting my name, it says insert name here. Have you ever seen that? It's like,
oh my God.
Damn, these are fucking people are sloppy. I mean, I thought I was lazy.
Before I got here, my CFO was messaging me like saying, hey, I just want to make sure this wasn't you, right? It was like some email scam, right? Where basically somebody sent an email saying that I joined this mastermind group and I owed $40,000. Just want to make sure the payment was coming through. And then they sent a message back from me saying, I'm so sorry that the payment was delayed. Here, send it to my accounting team. It was that detailed.
No, they really do research. These scams are getting good.
So good.
Especially with AI. Like they did something recently where it's so sophisticated, it cracked a code that's supposed to take like 1 million years to be able to crack, and artificial intelligence did it in like half an hour.
I believe it, man.
I have a client right now who keeps calling me, insisting that I get in touch with Halle Berry because he's been dating her for like 4 years and she's taken like $200,000 from him. And that they speak every day. And I said, listen, man, you have been scammed. Whoever you're giving your money to, just stop giving it to them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what everybody says, but we're in love. And I mean, people are nuts.
Oh
man.
my God. Yeah.
People are absolutely nuts. You know, like I have a friend of mine whose his mom thought for a long time she was dating Liam Neeson. And
From Naked Gun?
No, Liam Neeson.
Oh, Liam Neeson.
The guy from Naked Gun is
His name's Neeson too, I think, right? Leslie
Nielsen. He's been dead for a long time.
Okay.
God.
Yeah, that was
The best scene that when he wears the full bodysuit condom with Priscilla Presley.
So good.
All right, go ahead, continue.
you know, when she's taking the beaver off the shelf and he says, "Oh, a nice beaver." That's the best movie ever. If you haven't seen Naked Gun from the 90s, these are classics.
Was it
and
OJ?
an airplane.
Was it
OJ
OJ was Detective
That's what I
Nordberg.
thought.
Detective Nordberg. OJ was in those movies.
Yeah.
And they were
was
hilarious.
Reggie Jackson was in the movie The Angels. Remember they found the gun behind second base and he had to kill the queen. Outrageous.
Yes.
Those guys are outrageous. All right.
That's funny. Yeah, so like I said, the algorithm is kind of, mostly the same. It's just gotten so much more competitive. You had
Is
lawyers.
it true that legal space is one of the most competitive, like the biggest spends?
It is. So the only thing I'd say that's actually more competitive than legal would be like they call it PPC, porn, pills, and casinos, right?
I thought that was pay per click.
In some worlds, it's pay per click, right? But there's some really dark worlds of SEO, and there's conferences that are all about like porn marketing or casino marketing. Oh yeah, there's a conference that's happening in New York, like right about now, and it's all about like casino marketing, like how to rank for online casino. That's actually where I kind of started. Was I was ranking websites for the word online poker, right? And so that was a very competitive space, and so I was doing very well.
That's back when like Ultimate Bet.
That was one of my clients. Yeah, Absolute Poker and Ultimate Bet. I had them ranking.
I used to plan both Ultimate Bet, Absolute Poker, Poker Stars,
all of them.
Poker Stars, I think, was started by a lawyer from Orange County.
And then Phil Ivey was a part of that one. Right?
Yeah. What's the other guy? Phil. What's his name?
Phil Hellmuth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He
that's
was
right.
with Ultimate Bet. I used to gamble on all those sites.
Yeah, I was doing the SEO for those websites. I had them.
They were all
ranking.
scams, those sites. Because,
I when I was studying for the bar in 2005, that summer, you can't, like, I had to take out a loan so I could like live because you can't work. You're just studying for the bar. I played poker every night it was Bodog. I did Bodog's poker one from 10 p.m. to midnight. Wow. And I would check their connection to see where people were playing. I would just play like these 6-table mini tournaments, like no hold'em, where they'd raise the blinds every once in a while so you'd be a little more fast paced. I found a hack where you can figure out where their internet connection was.
Wow.
And if I saw they were from the East Coast, I knew they were hammered. Because it was like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Competitive edge.
And they were so loose. And I made so much money.
You just play those one tables, satellites.
Yeah. And no big tournament, it was just one table, winner cash, second got like their money back, and I would just clean up all night. And then it started getting weird because I was getting checks from like these, it was a new check from a new place every time. When I would cash out, it was like $2,000 from some like Caribbean island and then some bank account in Panama. And it got a little weird. I'm like, man, I can't do this anymore. But I still remember my username and password because I would log in every night. That's when there was no auto login.
There might be some money in there still,
There
man.
probably is.
I remember Black Friday when they like literally the FBI came in and like seized every single website. Like you went to Google. Oh yeah, you went to Google and you clicked on every result and it's like boom.
Yeah, they
seized
put
by
them
FBI.
out of business. That was probably 2010 or so.
Yeah.
Really? I did not know this story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they put them under, and some people had hundreds of thousands of dollars in those accounts in Ultimate Bet and Poker Stars, and the government just seized all of it.
I mean, I just had a
crazy
general
to see
rule after I got over $2,000, I would just cash out.
Yeah.
So I never kept that much in my account at any time. Can you do the next pour for us?
Yes, sir. Next one we have here is a beautiful bottle of Angel's Envy. And on the back, it has the Angel's Wings tattoo.
Who else has the angel wings?
My wife has this exact tattoo on her back. Her entire back is Angel Wings. She had it way before I met her.
Okay.
But it is, Angel's Envy should pay her royalties, but she's got the same thing on her back.
And my
God,
middle
who closed-
daughter has this little
who closed
sparkle
this,
jacket
man?
that
Andre
has
the
this
Giant?
same angel wings on the back. But the reason we selected this bottle for you is the original bourbon approved tour. Angel's Envy is right there on Whiskey Row in Louisville.
I've been to this. I've been to this distillery with Bob.
We had a couple of times. We actually poured a bottle here. I was seeing if you had it in your clubhouse, the bottle that you poured.
The Michter's, I have it down there. I think.
Oh, you do?
I think I have it here.
Well, cheers before you drink that. Cheers. But Jason was on that tour. We're going to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jason, do you like you like bourbon? Obviously.
Yeah.
You like
Completely different taste.
you like cognac too?
I don't know. You know, you would think with a name like Hennessey, I would like it, but no, I'm not a fan.
His middle initial is XO. So is Hennessy your real last name? Because it's so cool.
It is my last name. Yep. Everybody,
I
every
was
TSA
gonna-
agent asked me that question.
I was
as
going
I
to
go
pull out
through.
some very nice Hennessy, some very nice cognac for you.
There you
since
go.
You're here.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we'll have a little. Maybe we'll have a little.
Okay.
nip
You have
at it.
cognac here?
Oh yes. Got some nice stuff.
I like cognac. It's fine.
Yeah.
I also like a good
It's a
barley
celebration, bitches.
wine. Mauro and I, when we travel at night, when our wives go to bed, we play Uno and watch old Dave Chappelle videos.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
And just laugh our asses
And just
off.
laugh.
Funny.
Yeah, there's nothing better than the old Chappelle show stuff.
I wish you'd come out with more content, man.
He still does his stand-up, but it's very, I think it's very funny. He's a
There's
habitual
nothing
line
like
stepper,
Clayton
too.
Bigsby. I'll tell
Oh
you
my
that.
God, the blind guy, right? Yes.
That was
Oh
probably
my
the best
God.
episode he's done.
So,
Yeah, but
so
I mean,
good.
how do you get to? How many law firms you guys work with? I remember the first time we talked, and you had showed me what you had done, and you could go in and see how much. Because he did an audit on my website. Just, like we don't really do that stuff. And
Yeah.
he showed like little things we could turn. I was like, holy shit! And then it was the first time I got introduced to a very big legal personality that we all know
Yep.
who came out of nowhere. Nowhere. Like he was just an overnight name. I was like, holy shit! It was during COVID. I was like, and now I feel like I know that person. He ranks for like a lot of cases he doesn't do, and I was like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
And Jason showed me as he set it up. I was like, oh my God! But
I know who
hard
you're
it-
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to name names. We'll do it
No.
off air, but it was crazy.
Yeah. You know, it just comes down to a strategy. That was a client that just went all in. And so budget was not really a concern. And so they're just like, here, assume that you have a blank check and what would that look like? And so we just kind of put together a strategy and made them like a national figure pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
But the thing about it wasn't like, it does take time, right? I mean, like it wasn't like next month it's ranking, but it was a strategy that, we implemented and it worked.
But now, like, that individual can do a post on social media, millions of views right after they touch it, and like, it's insane. The
Yeah.
outreach that's happened from there.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful, when you make these kind of investments. And the beauty about that too is like, there's a lot of firms that don't do SEO at all, right? And that's perfectly fine. There's firms that just rely on other marketing channels like pay-per-click, where you're just renting space from Google.
Well, now PPC is something different. It's porn. So what do you say?
Well, no, pay-per-click is really PPC,
But
but that's just a different
remember the other
acronym.
Porn, casinos, and pills.
Porn,
So,
pills, and casinos.
Because
right?
there's that dark web thing. This is where they had the that underground marketplace. The guy actually went to federal prison.
Silk Road?
He recently got it was Silk Road, and he got pardoned. But he had a place where you can like trade all of these things. And I wonder, like, how hard would that be able to track? Because I think like accountability lawsuits. If you had to find a way where people are selling illegal firearms or drugs or trafficking women,
Sure.
there's probably a place where that they're enabling this that you can track who's
Oh,
doing it.
probably, yeah.
What I don't understand is all these ads I get on Instagram that I know for sure Tim McGraw is not, the spokesperson for some shitty diet pills, but they use him and they do the ad, or they do an ad using some other celebrity and like they do like the voice and everything. How do they get away with that nonsense?
I guess if they're offshore and they just do it until Tim McGraw's people see it and then file like a cease and desist.
Like we had one where they kept using my wife's likeness to promote a product that,
Really?
Oh dude. And we had to keep sending cease and desist, all these things. And like they were offshore, they didn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's the
And it was
problem.
like, it was because she's, you put your name behind something that you believe in, and then people are like, oh, you're endorsed this product, and she's getting all these teams. She's like, no, I've never met these people in my life.
So if you're watching this, if that ever happens to you, you need to file a DMCA takedown request to the hosting company, and that's how you get that off.
The hosting companies, what? Who's hosting?
So wherever that content is being hosted, right? So if it's on Meta or wherever, you just kind of follow that.
But we filed it so many times with
And
Meta,
still?
and they still,
Really?
and then I found out who their lawyer was, and now they're a little more responsive.
Okay.
But yeah, it's crazy. And I was like, how, like, this is so mean,
I
it's
will
deceptive.
never buy anything ever again. Is what I say to myself from an Instagram ad, because I fall for that shit and I bought so much just garbage.
Yeah.
The shit they send you when you fall for these Instagram ads is like the cheapest Chinese stuff.
Well, it depends. Like I got these shoes off Instagram. Look how cool this is. These Jordans.
Those are really. I was actually admiring those. When
I actually
first
have a
came
pair of
in.
those.
Yeah, but you're the one because he told me about it.
Okay.
And then it showed up on my Instagram.
Yeah, because I bought
I
I
want
bought
that.
some Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones on
Okay.
Instagram.
These are
and
Jordans. These are
Actually, I liked those. They were
Yeah.
really cool, and they're like some Air
He's
Force
a name
Ones.
whore. He's like a brand.
No, they're Air Force Ones that had Louis Vuitton. Like
Yep,
they,
I've got a
they
couple of
stitched
those.
it on, you know.
Yeah.
But most of the stuff I bought this one thing. I kept seeing this ad where there's this bar of soap and you put it on your beard and it colors your beard and makes it darker, you know? Because I don't like that.
not
my beard,
working
my
very
beard is
well.
so white. So I bought it off some Instagram ad and they sent me this bar of soap. I usually like twice. My face felt like it was on fire, like I was gonna go to a dermatologist. Just crashed with garbage. And then I bought some like pills that said that like will speed up your metabolism or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
They were like some gummies. I fell for that bullshit ad.
My wife and my son.
And I threw it in the
fell for that.
garbage too. It's just garbage.
My son fell for that. He came home. He's like, Dad, look at this. You can see the inside of your ear and how dirty it is. And it's like this like.
Oh, I've
thing.
seen that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost
Now
bought
I'm
that.
going to see it too.
I
'cause
almost
we're
bought
talking
that.
about
I almost bought that ear cleaner
did
one. I almost
too.
fell for it, but then I was like, nah, I bought
did
enough.
fall for it.
I bought enough
it.
shit.
Is this your son that's in a band?
No, that's my other son. So my one son's in Oregon. He comes home tomorrow for spring break. But this is my older boy who is having a baby.
You're going to be
So,
grandpa. That's crazy.
This is the first time
How
I'm
old are
talking
you,
about
Jason?
this. 47.
That's young
Yes.
for a grandpa.
Well, we had our kids young. So we were 23, I think. Yeah. My wife and I when we had our first child. So
I was 47 when my daughter was born.
Huh.
I'm an old dad.
Wow.
We're about, 45, 47, 50, almost 51.
51.
So we're about the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm an 80s baby here.
We played the same Nintendo games.
I'm a 70, and I remember the 70s pretty well because I was born in 74. So when I was 5 or 6, you know, it's like late 70s. I remember Saturday Night Fever and all that shit. I remember the
So
late
here's a
70s.
question. So what was the bicycle that you drove when you were a kid? Do you
I
remember?
had a
I had a mongoose.
Oh, Mongoose was good. That was legit.
The mini mongoose was also a good one to flip. I had a BMX, so I had
Okay,
a little.
BMX. I had a GT Performer, and it was like turquoise blue.
I had a mongoose GT, a blue one.
Blue one too? Did it have pegs?
Oh yeah.
He
still uses pegs, but
Yeah.
I don't. Mine didn't have
Bob
pegs.
likes to be pegged. but
That was the joke.
That's
We
for
didn't take it too
another.
far.
That's for another episode.
We got so much like in our backyard in Pittsburgh was a bunch of woods, so we like built these little like dirt ramps and shit with our like bikes, and we were like so proud of like digging and doing this whole thing. And then the older kids one day just came and destroyed the whole fucking
Just
thing.
stomped on
God.
it.
Oh god, like destroyed it.
I love
It
that.
caused this whole like. We were the original Fight Club before Fight Club was a movie. We actually had to rank kids in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
There was like in our 3-block radius, there were I think like 20 boys that were within 2 years of each other, and the older boys, 2 years older, did this. So we started Fight Club, and
Yeah.
we're like, now you're gonna pay.
Mom,
Legit.
it's not Fight Club because you're talking about it.
Yeah, but
Now he
You
is.
But
can
the-
never talk about.
there was
Fight
only
Club.
like 2 fights because you had to like challenge the guy to move up in ranks.
So-
Brad, my twin brother, is the only one that challenged people.
Huh.
He beat the shit out of
Well,
all
he's
my
got
friends.
that kind of like weird energy.
So
Brad says the difference between me and you is you fight to win, I fight to kill.
Yeah, he is odd. Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight with him.
So growing up in Pittsburgh, did you guys we used to call it skitching.
Oh yeah.
Where you hold on
Skitching?
to the back of like a car in the snow, right?
Never did.
Or in the snow, you could do it with a skateboard or with like roller skates.
You could do
or,
that
like,
too,
yeah.
but it was mostly in the
Rollerblades.
snow. Like if it was a snowstorm in New York, all the kids would like miss school, right? You go down to one place, one person would stop a car, ask what time it is. 16 kids would get on the back of the car, and then the car would take off, and they're dragging all these kids in the snow.
That's full.
We used to do that too, and you would.
So
the
dangerous.
idea is it gets a little momentum, and then you propel yourself off of it, and then you just get this.
Our goal was last man standing, right? So once you're on, and there's like 6 other kids, you're like knocking them off, and you're holding on
we didn't-
one
And
hand.
you're on your bicycle?
No, you're like literally hanging onto the car,
But
being
and
dragged
just
in
with
the
your
snow.
on your feet?
Yes, like
Yeah.
being
Snow
dragged
and
in the
ice,
snow,
yeah.
holding
This
onto
is
the
in
bumper.
where did you grow up in New York? What part of New York?
Long Island. Yes.
Long Island. Which city?
So this is kind of like it's Copeg is a town, and it's Suffolk County of Long Island. So yes.
You know, I've been listening to Howard Stern for 35
oh,
years.
he's great.
So I just know like Roosevelt,
Oh yeah, that's where he grew up.
He always says he's from Roosevelt,
Roosevelt
Long
High
Island.
School. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's he knows a lot of nonsense about everything. So we were at a few weeks ago we're at this conference. One of our buddies, who we all know, he's in Long Island, and they're talking about what do they call that area? Montauk or something like.
Oh,
This
the
was in the
Hamptons.
Hamptons, in West Hampton.
And he knows like every place in the Hamptons. Like, how do you know these?
I used to hang out down. I used to hang out in West Hampton and
I don't see you as a
Southampton.
Hampton guy.
It's the Hamptons is cool, man. It's just parties. People drink heavy day drinking.
It is.
I could get by
It's kind of like our Beverly Hills, I guess.
Yeah, like it's like Malibu kind of like just heavy duty day drinking at people's houses.
Yeah.
And then at night it was everyone trying to scam their way into a party where like they would have like the fucking Gypsy Kings playing in the guy's backyard, some rich guy.
Yeah.
And one time I went with my wife before we had kids and stuff, and we got into a party where the Gypsy Kings were playing.
Really?
At some rich guy's house in East Hampton.
Speaking of
fucking great.
Gypsy Kings, I was just in Miami at a YPO event, and they had the Gypsy Kings there performing live
shit.
for us. It was like a group of 100 people, and the Gypsy Kings came.
They're the fucking best, man.
So good. They did.
Bamboleo.
They did.
That's the only one I think.
Well,
I
they
know.
did Hotel California.
Oh, they do a great version of it. I've seen them where they've done that with the Eagles.
Yeah,
You ever seen where they
wow.
do it with the Eagles? It's
I was
fucking
surprised.
amazing.
I was like, wow, this sounds really good in Spanish. It was so good.
I saw them do that with the Eagles once.
Yeah, but that was a great event for sure.
No, but those private little. It's getting more competitive because we do a lot of grow. We have to book talent all the time to come in and perform, and it's more competitive because a lot of the Indian casinos have big budgets and they're booking people all the time. So the prices are going way up for even 3-4 years ago because they're getting offered all these huge opportunities to play in front of a crowd. It's like Pachanga. What's Pachanga?
Oh yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Like Moringa, like all these ones they could just
Morongo has lots of shows.
Morongo.
Pachanga out in the desert at the Spotlight 29 is where they have a huge arena out there out in Indio.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Well, you've brought some talent to Mardi Gras, man, for sure.
Yeah. So hopefully when this airs, we should be able to know. Last year, so my favorite show we ever did was we did Ice Cube and Flow Ride the same night. That was
cool.
The most fun we've ever had.
Yeah.
This year, so I mean, hopefully, like we can edit it out if it doesn't happen. But Diplo is probably going to headline a lot of it and bring in Diplo and friends. So we have some other folks.
That's for Friday or Saturday.
That's what the negotiation is right now because he runs.
And then besides Diplo and friends, who else is the headliners?
Well, he will bring friends that will be
okay.
that
I think I just seen him.
It isn't
the
there.
news.
So there's not going to be two headlining nights.
Yeah, that's why he'd be interviewed.
Just one headlining night.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'll tell you, the vision this year is to we're calling it network effects. So people are going to be able to bring their communities. So we're going to allow what we call the big five and different verticals to literally have their conference within a conference, so that. Like one's a medical legal. You met one of the guys that's going to do it. So they have their whole carve out on the lawn, their days of education, their days of taking care of all their customers, and do that within marketing and media, within technology, AI, within trial lawyer space. So that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And allow, because there's so much conference fatigue. It's a real thing. But I wanted to create something where you can bring all of your folks and everybody's kind of taken care of.
That's good.
It's just, we're like the
different.
conglomerate. It's different. Like I didn't want to be, I don't know. The hardest thing to do these conferences is setting all of the education and maintaining people. I need a speaking spot. I need this.
Yeah,
it's hard,
It is very hard to kind of organize it and keep everybody happy. Yeah.
So we did the Bourbon Approved tour, which Jason was at, which we were in Kentucky. We just did the legal education on buses.
That was so smart.
Shuttles to and from distilleries. And
So
we had
smart.
So which one were you on? Were you on?
Who was I on? I was on. I think I was on.
You were on the
yours.
marketing one. Yeah, with us.
Marketing. Yeah. Huh?
That was so on that bus.
I don't remember what bus I was on, but I was fucked up.
You were on the bus with me. And I actually, we'll do the B-roll because he passed out many times with a drink in his hand. Still a drink in his hand. In his tiger suit. That was the first time he wore a tiger suit.
Yes, that's right. And then that created a thing because I always see you guys wearing that now.
Yes.
It's spread. It's like a phenomenon. Now it's everywhere.
Yes.
We actually have Gavin Newsom with a tiger suit.
No way.
Yes. Yep.
Really?
I gave him one myself.
What?
We have a picture with it. And then on that shuttle, though, on that bus, I mean, I met a lot of people for the first time. This guy, I knew him. We were friends for a long time.
Yep.
Danishkar came.
Yes.
My buddy David Danishkar that you know now.
I interviewed him on my podcast. Yeah.
He's I've known David since he was 21. I was probably closer to 30. I'm about 10 years older than him. David's always been a real smart guy.
Super smart.
He went to Berkeley. He was a statistics major, super math major.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he started playing poker professionally. I met him at a poker tournament. I used to play in these big tournaments. Met him at a tournament, and David's just a smart guy. And, he started a big company, a big software company called Bloom Nation.
That's right, for florists. I remember it.
Yeah,
yes.
for florists to cut out the middleman and sell direct to consumer. And so after he left that company, then he started an AI customer service company that's doing really well. Whippy AI.
I'm a customer. He's the OG customer.
Yeah,
I was
beta,
I was like the beta customer. I helped him develop it. I'm an early investor and owner of the company, and I hope it sells for $1 billion.
Yeah. And we also had somebody that had like more Super Bowl rings on that bus.
Tyler Gaffney.
Played
for the Patriots. Also played for the Pirates in baseball. He did 2 sports.
I know, he's like a Bo Jackson.
Dude, and then he won the push-up competition.
He totally won.
And it was not even close. I think about that every day because I could probably rattle off maybe 50, and he made it look like child's play.
He lives in Tennessee now.
He lives in Tennessee with his wife.
Yeah.
They just had their little girl. They have 2 boys. Just had their girl.
She's adorable too. Yeah. I see them on social all the time.
He's another like great human on that whole. Like I want to go back to see who was on there. So like Ali Salimi was on that. Who's from Atlanta. He's the one that jumped on the buffalo. He looks like my Persian triplet. I gotta show you this.
I remember him.
Who's the guy that like was posing like this?
That was him.
That's what I thought.
You're the one that sent it to me.
I took the photo. Yeah.
Was that the guy that went to Jefferson's Ocean Distillery with us?
Yeah. We were all the same one. So we were all the same one.
We went to Jefferson's Ocean. Remember
yes,
that?
we did. Yes.
And they had like that old car outside, and everyone was taking pictures.
That's
of it.
Yes, we have that photo. We got to find that one to see because there's so much like This is right after the pandemic, the first time we could...
3-4 years ago,
yeah,
something
this was
like that.
2021.
You know that I went one night across the river to the Riverboat Casino on the other side of the Ohio River because Louisville's on the Ohio River.
That's right.
There's a bridge, you go across the Ohio River, there's a Caesar's Palace shitty riverboat casino. And I went over there. I had like $200 on me and no money. Usually I like to go to casino.
With money.
I travel with him across the world. He has to buy a casino wherever we are. Doesn't matter if we're...
Last time we were in Budapest a couple years ago. Luckily for him, Bob does all the planning. He's got people, travel agents and stuff. So we just show up.
Yeah.
I just show up, as I always tell my wife, wherever Bob's travel agent put us, it's fucking good.
There you go.
So we happened to be at the Four Seasons in Budapest, right fucking next door to the casino. I said, Bob, you did it this time. And then I was in there in the casino every night. It was fucking best.
I love following you.
I went to that piece of shit
Yeah.
Riverboat Casino, and it's actually in Indiana, across the river.
And this is in Indiana.
Yeah. I had $200. I put it in a slot machine. I won 15 grand.
15
Wow.
grand. Yeah.
And I was like, they're like, how do you want the money? I said, cash. And they said, you want it in cash? I said, yeah, in a bag. They gave me 15 grand in a brown paper bag, and I came back across.
By the way, if you have that amount of cash, it's not that big. I always thought like 15 grand in cash or 100 is like a lot of money. No, it's just like, all
It's
right.
like in a little lunch
But
bag.
they're giving you
lunch bag.
like monopoly money. You don't even know what it means in that country.
Yeah.
So this one is Cat's Eye Distillery, which is in Indiana.
Okay.
And Gene Nassif, who's the Nassif Family Reserve that owns the distillery, was on the Bourbon Proof Tour.
See, that's what you said at the beginning of the show. That I don't know.
And their bourbon's good, man.
It's good.
No, it's very
I think
good.
they might source it from a lot of places. I'm not sure. I don't know. Or they distill their own. I don't know, but it's good.
So we did this year. We always do a barrel pick. And usually we get it, all bottled in like at my house or office.
You gave me a bottle of yours.
Yes,
whiskey.
the Whistle Pig one.
Whistle Pig one, yeah.
That one's excellent. So
Yeah.
we did. Oh, and you're at my house. I forgot about
I
that.
remember, yeah.
So we did this year that I want to do every year, where he curates a special one for us that people can just go online and buy a bottle.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
This was 130 of them, I think, on this one. So there's a limited release. They can just go online and get it.
Sure. Yeah, that's smart.
It's much easier to share it that way.
We'll put a link at the show here, maybe.
I think they're out. I think they're...
If anyone wants to send any bourbon to me, because Bob gets all the shit people send, because they don't know how to send it to Fiore Legal in Monrovia, California. You can look us up. That's our home office.
There you go.
Send it to my office. I will drink it.
Yes. Please send...
Send nudes to Bob.
Wait, that was the joke. That's the B-roll. No, send guns, money, and lawyers.
Yeah, send lawyers, guns, and money to my office. Lawyers, guns, and money is a God. I'm starting to may have had some drinks, but a Warren Zevon song that's really good.
Oh, yeah. Werewolves of what was it? Werewolves of London.
That's his other song. Werewolves of London is Warren Zevon.
Yeah.
That's his big song. You know Werewolves of London?
Werewolves of London.
And and his hair was perfect.
Uh-huh.
You know that song?
I'm pretty good at like music trivia.
Jason, drink up because I have something special. I have something special for Jason.
Oh wow, what is it?
Because his last name is Hennessey, so immediately you think of cognac. And I have some special cognac here in the man cave that I don't bust out too often, even though I think the last time a couple of my loser friends were here and they drank a lot of it. This is Louis the 13th.
I hope this is empty. Like,
and I don't know if they fuckers drank it, actually. I don't know. We're going to see. If it's empty, then I'm going to kill somebody. But this is a Louis the 14th. It is so hard to open, too. Every time I try to open this fucking thing, I can't figure it out.
This is a big
It actually
deal
has
here.
directions right here.
Yeah, every time.
It does. It
This
has like
way?
a whole schematic.
Is it this way? Okay, here we go. The son of a bitch is empty. These fuckers drank it. I can't believe it. These son of a bitches drank it. Well, Jason,
All the hype. All right.
I apologize, but these guys, the last time I had a poker game here, they drank my whole bottle of
my God.
Who was it? Oh, a bunch of my friends that aren't lawyers, like my group of non-lawyer friends.
Oh, best.
Real scumbags. I can't believe they drank the whole
Dude,
fucking
that's
thing.
fucked up.
God.
This is. I
like
mean, this is the
getting
most
such a
expensive
rich-
bottle.
Unfucking believable.
Of course they're gonna drink that. You leave it out. You gotta lock that up.
Not
Sorry.
planned, ladies and gentlemen. We just.
Sorry, Jason, but it's a real moment on the show. We did have some Louis the 13th, but not anymore.
God, such
Oh, I got this with Bob at the Kentucky Derby. The year we went to the Kentucky Derby in Louisville.
Oh, cool.
And this is a Old Forester mint julep, already prepared. So since yesterday was St. Patrick's Day,
There you go.
let's give it a whirl to the mint julep.
Okay.
This is a Kentucky Derby special. The mint julep is one.
Yeah,
you
everybody
can
drinks-
order.
I've never
everybody
been to the
drinks-
Kentucky Derby.
It was fun, man.
Yeah, I've heard.
I went with him and I thought, I'm not a big horse guy, but man, that was one of the most fun events that I've ever.
Oh, that's an experience. Like going to that. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for
It's
that.
like going to the World Series, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But you've done both this year. You went
did.
to the Super Bowl and the World Series.
I went to Super
Wow,
Bowl
that's nice and sweet.
and the World Series.
that's
Man,
really
I'm so fucking spoiled.
Wow.
Ain't that good? Really good.
The Old Forester, if you go there to their own Whiskey Row 2 in Louisville, very cool setup. They like modernized the distillery.
Almost has like a toothpaste. Like
Don't ruin it for
aftertaste.
me.
Well, toothpaste is always mint flavor.
I guess so, right?
So it's like a Aquafresh. kind of,
That's right.
But better.
But
So
a little bit better.
I always brush my little kids' teeth in the morning. It's one of the things like after they have like this strawberry paste that like I
you
can't
get from
stand.
like Target.
Yeah,
or
because
something.
they're little kids. So like
and it's
they're,
always
like,
eye level, right?
Yeah.
Grab the stuff that's eye level.
so they have to like
My daughter
like
has
the mint
Barbie toothpaste, and my son has Monster Truck toothpaste.
Yeah, it's always so fascinating. Like that's marketing, right? When you go to like Target or Walmart, right? You always look eye level, right? And it's like the soups with all the princesses on it are down there.
wins.
Like most people don't ever realize that, right? That they're marketing to kids at that level. Yeah.
And that's Mauro knows that because when he does premises cases, he knows that they put your eyes here so you're not seeing what's on the floor. So when you trip, where are your eyes?
Yeah, I always say that there's nothing for sale on the floor. It's all on the shelves. They want you to look at the shelves, not the floor.
That's right.
So they better maintain the store because no one's looking down, everyone's looking up.
Yeah.
Mauro has a secret weapon expert for trip and falls that knows every store system. And
I do.
Do you?
I have a really good expert witness on retail customer service, retail standards of care, how they're supposed to run stores.
Really?
she's the best. Don't give it on the show. Reach out to Mauro, slide into his DMs, and he will share some information with you.
I'll share with you a killer expert on retail.
I've got clients that's all we do is publish content about like, did you slip and fall at CVS? Did you slip and fall at Publix? Did you slip and fall? You name it, right? I mean, we're just writing abundance of content for clients because that's stuff that like nobody is ever competing for. And it's just like the easiest cases.
So what are like, if you had to recommend some stuff for people that are watching or listening to this show,
Yep.
if they don't got a lot of money to compete in SEO, like
Yep.
how can they do it?
Well, that's just one idea, right? I mean, like find a niche, like I own a site called birthinjurylawyer.com, right? That's one of my sites, right? It ranks nationally for like birth injury. And I've got one of those ABSs, right? Where I can kind of participate as a non-lawyer. But that's just it. The whole website is all about like birth injury, right? So like you can find a niche, or if you don't have the budget to compete in LA, just focus on like Burbank, right? Make yourself the best lawyer in Burbank, right?
or
there's all
practice
kinds of-
area, like
or
you
practice area,
injury,
like slip and fall, trip and falls. Like you can be the store specialist. Like there's, billboards in town about like the Uber lawyer, right? I'm sure that's just one thing of what they do, but it's just niching down.
But if you're going to niche, do something that one you love, and two that you can actually make money doing.
That's
You
right.
can advertise doing it.
That's why birth injury is a good one.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
I know some of the best birth injury lawyers nationwide.
We refer our cases out to like some of the best. Yeah. Like we started this probably about 5 years ago. And then we started generating leads about 2 years after we were already marketing it. And we just recently had one of our first ones settle for about $5 million.
Yeah.
And so that's why I bought my plaid Tesla, was because I got some random
We got to get a picture of
mailbox
that to put it in there.
money.
Yeah.
Check.
So you have an ABS in what state?
In Arizona.
It has to be Arizona.
Yeah.
Well,
This is-
FTC has it. It's had it since the
Yeah,
90s.
but it's a little different.
It is
nuances.
different.
But like, I can see a lot through attorney share, a lot of the ABS folks that are doing what you are doing, which I think what you should do is be really good at marketing and then find the best of what they do. Because if you're going to get a percentage of the fee, why not partner with the best lawyer?
That's what we do.
Exactly. And be able to track.
That's what I call catch and release.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch and
But you
release.
have a service, because if people right now, if they Google, they might find a lawyer that's not their specialty. They sign up with them. It's a disservice to that client.
It's exactly right.
Right. So you're now channeling it to, like, there's
Yep.
like Megan Whiteside in DC. I know Marley Withers up in Boston, Karen Zaka. There's a lot of fantastic lawyers that only do this special skill set.
Exactly right.
And you also have big access to justice, and you're helping women too that have, there's some of the best mal lawyers that do these injuries are women.
Exactly.
And you're getting them.
And that's the real benefit of doing this, is that you're really helping somebody that had a very traumatic experience,
Yes.
right? So.
And then because I've referred out a bunch of those, and I always refer it to women in the space, because I think it's a very sensitive, like, it's hard.
Sure.
And like, if somebody reached out today who's a friend of mine that had an experience that I was like, it's too close to home for me. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to, I'll partner with, I'll show you who's probably the best option for you, but like, I don't want to.
Yeah, do what's best for the client.
Do you represent a lot of your, like, friends and family? It's hard.
No.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
No,
that's
I mean, I live by the rule that
He actually represented my mother-in-law for workers'
I did
companies.
actually.
Yep.
Oh,
Actually,
really?
her case was righteous, and I got her a good settlement. But I live by the rule that for people that you know, and this is good advice to lawyers and new lawyers and old lawyers, people that you know, I only represent them if the cases are just really good. They have a lot of upside. There's going to be a good result, because people that you know, you don't want to take their cases that are shaky, that are kind of fucked up. They're not going to go well, or there's going to be limited recovery and all these things, because you're going to like, I represent a client now. I settle their case. I might never ever hear from them, ever see them again ever.
Yeah, that's
but if this
different.
is someone you know, you're going to see him at this guy's
Birthday
Bob's
parties.
kid's birthday party,
Yep.
at this other thing, at a wedding, at a quinceanera, or whatever, and they're going to always be looking at you the side of their eye and like, oh, there's that fucking guy got me $3,000.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There's no win in that.
That's how I feel just with my own SEO agency.
There's no win.
Same thing. Like, people come to me saying, "Hey, I've got $5,000 per month. I want to compete in, Los Angeles."
Not gonna
I'm
happen.
like, yeah, I'm like, here, man, take that money, go to Disneyland, have fun. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like misrepresent, and mismanage expectations. The last thing I want to do is show up at a conference and have to hide behind a wall because this person.
It's funny you say that, because you can tell some of the vendors that have shame, like, I'm a vendor in a lot of these spaces too, and you want to have come in there with integrity and like be
100%.
able to hold your head up. And you've always been one of those guys that is like the source of light in a lot of these things. Like, people know, you see Jason, they know what they're getting.
Yeah.
No
You know what? I
bullshit.
recently dealt with a guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but tremendous integrity.
Yeah.
He's a very well-known vendor. He's at a lot of the conferences. I was considering doing some radio stuff. Everybody knows the radio guys.
Yeah.
I talked to him, had a meeting with him. We had a couple meetings, and then he told me what kind of budget I would need to compete, how I wanted to do things. And I just told him, that budget is like beyond what I'm interested in spending, but what could you do for this budget, which was probably like half.
Sure.
And he said, you know what? Just keep your money.
See, that's cheers
Instead
to
of
that.
taking my money-
Cheers to that.
And
Like,
you know
what I
who-
mean?
you know
Like,
who
that's good.
told me
that's-
the same thing? You know, also told me the same thing?
Jason
Hennessey. After the audit, he was like, you were like, your brand is strong. If you could do a lot more with doing these other things rather than hiring me to spend $30K a month, whatever it could be. You could do a lot more doing these other things.
So the radio guy, to this, to his credit, he didn't want to take my money and underperform, and he just said, keep your money, and we're still friends, and I still text with him.
Reputation's everything.
That's
he's
so key.
He's a great guy, and I'm glad to know him. He's a friend, and it's interesting how there's people who still have some integrity
and character, right? That's what this whole world is built upon.
And he almost bought a number from Joey Numbers at the last.
Oh my God!
I'm still considering.
I've got some videos of Joey. Man.
I've got some. He had a couple numbers that were interesting and not that expensive. So I mean, I might still reach out to Joey Numbers for a phone.
He wants 626-1 trillion. What was the one?
He has.
This actually happened.
626-999-9000. Okay. Which I kind of dig because I'm in the 626.
What is that, about a $20,000?
No, less. It was like 15 or 20 grand or something. And I was like,
about 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind.
I was shocked like the first time I met the guy.
Yeah.
I was at a conference in
Did
Chicago.
he dance for you?
Joey Numbers is the guy who sells phone numbers to lawyers. Like
yes, maybe we can show a video of him dancing because I have one. I'll send it to you.
8888, whatever. All those fancy numbers. This guy, Joey Numbers, sells
Joey
numbers.
Numbers, and then Paul Foster, the two that I know.
And Greg, there's another guy, Greg Fernandez too. Yep, another guy. He's the guy that had 1-800-777-7777 that you see Dominguez, I think, out here.
Celino Barnes. So they're the ones that
maybe.
But I was at a conference in Chicago. I brought my dad with me. It was a trucking one. My dad's a trucker. He's not a lawyer. Like
my dad was a trucker too.
It was great. Like he, everybody knows Big Bob. So we go on this conference. And we're in the elevator, and Joey Numbers literally runs up, and like it's one of those scenes from a movie where the elevator's closing, and he puts his hand in. He's like, "Hey, Bob." I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "I'm looking to meet you." He's like, "I want to sell you this number."
You have like 2 floors before he can sell you a number.
And he keeps, but it was like, he's like, "This one, $10 million." I was like. My dad looks at me. My dad's a truck driver. He's like, "What did you just say?" My dad's like, "I'll sell you my number for $5." He's like, "What do you want?" But I thought it was a joke, and then he kept going. And he's like, he's like, "I sold this to your friends for this amount of money." I'm like, "Cool." Like, I don't know what you're going to tell me. So he followed up, and he wanted to sell me like, "Call Bob." He wanted. I was like,
okay.
Like, I'm not gonna. I would rather be more hidden. But it was very funny, and I was like, I thought it was a joke. But then he saw Mauro, and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "That's a pretty good number." I was like, "I might do it."
Because I told him, this guy works nationwide. I said, "Do you have anything in 626?" He started rattling off numbers. He
knows in his head.
He knows them. He started rattling off phone numbers. Like, damn, those are good. I said, those are pretty good numbers, actually.
But it's so funny because any number that you see that's like 4444444 there's a good chance that there are 2 people that sold those numbers, right? And it's probably Paul or Joey, right? For sure. Whether it's a cab company or a law firm. Yeah, there's 2 guys that kind of control.
I'd rather be like a landing page or a call to action than a number for me, because I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're at the end of the episode here, Jason. First of all, thanks for coming on. We have a lot to talk about in the
What's
future.
the name of his company again? Let's
Hennessey Digital.
Hennessey Digital.
Yes. A little plug there.
And sorry about the cognac.
I know.
I have some people that I'm going to punch in their nose. Because I don't know how much that shit cost, because it was a gift, but I think it's a lot.
I think so too.
Lot.
I mean, look at the box
like a lot,
it comes
right?
I think that's 5 figures a lot.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It was a gift from a friend of mine. He sent me just like a shitty case that like nobody wanted, and he sent to me. I settled it for a lot of money, and classy act.
Yeah.
He sent me that bottle thanking me for taking this case no one wanted. And
but
I would have liked to have drank it myself.
That's fucked up.
Yes.
The only time I've had that was one, Chandra Spencer on the show. She brought it out, but 2, I had a client I represented. Gary Dordick was in a trial. He asked, "Can you come pinch hit and try this case for me?" I did. We got a good result. I asked the client after the verdict, "What's the one thing that we could do for you right now?" He's like, "Man, I would love a shot at Louis XIV." We went to Mastro's. Me and my brother Brandon. He tried the case with my little brother. We took him to Mastro's and had.
There
one of
you
those.
go.
But Jason, the end of the episode here, so we got to ask you. What's your bourbon of proof? We tried 2 from Kentucky, 1 from Indiana.
Yes.
We can't cover his face.
Yes.
What did you like?
So this was great, man. This was sweet, more like a dessert, right? After dinner. I think this was a good one. But I'm gonna go with this one.
I love it.
Yeah, this was great. Yeah. Way
So
to
this
start
is
the show.
This is the one in Indiana. This is Obtainium, a rye whiskey.
And
so
we
I like
know
ryes.
somebody that
So
owns
Gene
it.
Nassif, so he's a lawyer in Iowa, but his family has a distillery in Indiana. But I'll tell you what, man, like I love everything they do. And when they sent this super high proof whiskey, I was like, you know what, this is awesome. Because I want to have 1 or 2 drinks a night before I go to bed. Like I want to feel it.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
That's it.
You
I
can
don't want to
feel
drink
it.
like 40 Coors Lights to have one of these. But no, man. But
You can catch a buzz pretty quick on this.
so your eyes to work. 'Cause I don't make glasses. It tells you somewhere what bottle it is out of whatever.
Okay, so this is Obtainium Rye,
It says like they
bottled exclusively for the Justice Team, 63.9% alcohol. It's distilled by MGP of Indiana.
Yeah.
And okay, here we go. It's bottled on 11/20 of 24,
Okay.
and it's bottled 104 of 136.
136.
Wow. Okay.
And it's stored 12 years. So 12-year whiskey, and it was bottled 104 of 136 of this run. So to get 136 bottles, I think it's only like a couple barrels, right?
It's one barrel. No,
Yeah,
because
one barrel?
because that age, it has the angel share, Angel's Envy, named after Angel Share, because it dissipates into the universe, because after it ages, so much goes back into evaporation. But we're going to try to do next year with you guys. If they want to reach out, hey, we'd love to do a 15-year age with you guys. Just as high proof, maybe a little bit less high proof, because it does make some of our guests vomit. But not Jason Hennessey, did not vomit. So Jason, thanks for coming on the show, brother, and like pioneer in the industry, and I'm excited to see what you do next.
Yeah, we'll have to have another follow-up show at some point. Yes.
Don't get lost.
No.
Come back and see us.
Thank you.
He wants to do a hot tub show, though. It's a little weird. He has a hot tub right out there. It's like a hot pool. It's a hot tub pool.
Yeah, I have a poozy. It's a pool jacuzzi.
See? Yep.
He likes the Olympics size jacuzzi.
Yeah, that way you can have a big jacuzzi party.
Yeah, I'm down for
Let's
that.
give a good Halloween party.
Well, thanks guys for having me.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.